IRL streamers are people that go out of their way to become famous. It's almost like a drug to them. As anyone does who starts out on the internet, they start off pretty small, but they soon gain a massive following, and this leads to them wanting more and more and more of the adrenaline that they get from every stream that gets a viral audience. And this was no different for Johnny Somali. Now, I'm sure everyone has heard of him, but what we're going to do is start at the beginning from when he first blew up. What happened during that time, how many times he got evicted from other countries before he went to South Korea, where he is now facing jail time. And I am recording this on the 2nd of November. So if you have been following the story, you will know that on the 29th of October, he went to court again and it didn't go well for him. Johnny Somali starts off vlogging in Japan because he finds the people friendly and respectful. The place is very vibrant, it has good fashion and great food. The majority of things there are very affordable, including accommodation and food. So it makes it easy to make a living out there when you are streaming and your audience isn't all that big. But then Johnny makes a massive mistake. When he gets onto a train with a loudspeaker attached to his backpack and starts harassing passengers on there and trolling them. One such clip went absolutely viral for Johnny, and it was in the worst way possible with what he was saying to this young guy on the said video.
Yeah, Hiroshima? You know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You know why you do this? Pearl Harbor. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. You know Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We're gonna do again. What? Hiroshima, Nagasaki. We do again.
The young guy doesn't have a bloody clue what the hell Johnny is going on about. If you're old enough or you've done history at school, you would know that the Americans bombed Hiroshima and Nagasaki in World War II. So Johnny Somali obviously knows what he's talking about, but the poor young lad doesn't. Johnny makes a fatal mistake. He thinks that everyone in Japan is just gentle and they are not going to confront him. But oh boy, is he very wrong in that assumption.
It's good to know people in Japan. Let's be respectful. I hope nobody in the chat was saying weird shit. If I go back and... Whoa, what the... Chill out. Chill out. Stop. Oh, yeah. Stop. Hey, relax. Relax. Nothing, no problem.
Obviously, I've had to blur out what happened there, but just let me tell you that Johnny gets smacked in the face and he seems very scared, and so he should do. But just 1 week later, Johnny gets attacked again, and it's because he hasn't changed his attitude or learned his lesson from the first time.
Hop in Discord. Oh, whoa, what the? Yo, you tripping, nigga? Relax. Yo, relax. Yo, stop.
Johnny live streaming all of that to his viewers makes him get a lot more of them. In fact, more as in thousands as opposed to just a handful. And this makes him keep going.
I don't know what I could have done to get a 72-hour, dog. They said permit ban or only till ice free. I guess they banned me till ice free.
Johnny is stopped in his tracks because he gets a 72-hour ban from Kick. That is his main streaming platform where he gets lots of donations as well as getting paid for views. The knowledge of what Johnny is doing spreads throughout Japan, and everywhere he goes, he gets confronted by more and more people, just like this man.
Is that me?
Yeah, this you?
No.
You sure?
It's me. Yeah, what's up?
I got a problem with you, bro.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm a troll.
My wife is Japanese.
Okay.
You go in there insulting people like that. You know how many people from Hiroshima joking about that shit?
I know.
So why
I
are you joking about the
apologize.
people?
I was drunk. I know.
Family suffered, people suffered because of that. You're on the train harassing people like that?
I was drunk.
Don't do it again, bro.
I haven't done it again since.
I seen how people in Tokyo whoop your ass. You're lucky I don't do the same, bro.
Is that a threat?
It is, yeah. Because you go out harassing people like that, innocent people who didn't do anything. Japanese people are
Bro,
some of the most polite people.
I was
Japanese
drunk
people
when
are
it
the
happened. I
most
apologize.
polite people I ever met in my life.
Okay.
And you're on the with them like that for what, bro? For a little bit of clout? It's pathetic. Come on, man.
When Johnny gets confronted, all he does is deny it, and then he changes his tune and says, well, I haven't done anything since. And then he changes it again and says, well, I was drunk, as if that is an excuse, because obviously it's not. Johnny is now on the police radar because he is live streaming everything that's happening, and he gets beaten up quite a few more times. And then in Osaka, he goes into a hotel construction and starts aggravating the workers in there, stopping them from doing their jobs. Johnny gets arrested for obstruction of business by the.
Why? Nande?
Security check.
A security check. What's the security? Wait, why you take a photo of me? Why did you take a... So emotional. I'm not emotional. Daijoubu. I'm okay.
Okay.
Oh my. Oh, I don't want to empty my bag into there. Why?
Johnny continues with his antics, and he goes into restaurants and disrupts businesses there, and he's playing loud music, and he gets arrested again. And then in January of 2024, he is found guilty and he gets banned from Japan. And he also gets fined. With Johnny getting banned from Japan, you would think that he would learn his lesson, but obviously he doesn't. So, where does he go to next? In November of 2024, he touches down in South Korea. Johnny just picks up where he left off. He goes around South Korea harassing people in convenience stores, in restaurants, on trains, and the biggest crime of all is what he does to the peace statues. He's upsetting this lady on the train by offering her a drink. And now he's going up to the peace statue and he starts dancing in front of it. And then he goes even further by twerking in front of it. And then he sits on it and gives it a lap dance. The disrespect for the peace woman statue makes Johnny go viral again, but in a very bad way. The people of South Korea clip him doing all of these actions, and not just to that one statue, he does it a couple of other times as well. And this gets the attention of the news and they start reporting about him. And then, of course, he is on the South Korean police's radar. Johnny is kissing and fondling this one and also rubs baby oil all over himself and dancing.
So what do you want to talk about? Swing or not? Like, nigga gonna come up to me, bro, why you being racist to other people in other countries? For money. For clout. I've said it many times. I don't give a f. I have no morals. I'm a fucking sociopath. I don't give a f. Put this in your next YouTube documentary. I don't give a f. Our Korean niggas is weak as f.
Swing on the swing on that nigga right now. I was waiting for him to swing on Johnny. I was waiting, bro. I was waiting for him to
We're ready,
do it.
Reddit, Twitter, come.
I wanted to stop on this.
Hank is here tonight. We're not scared.
Because Johnny is taunting the South Koreans, the same thing happens to him that did in Japan. People start hunting him and beating him up, and Johnny is extremely scared.
What's up? 때렸다. 레전드.
소말리. 어디가?
어디가?
어?
어디가? Don't touch my shoe.
어디가?
Don't touch me, nigga.
어?
Huh?
소말리 어디가?
Yes, sir.
어디 가냐고?
You guys following me crazy. Look at this.
어디가?
어디가? What you mean? 어디가?
어디가?
What is 어디가? Oh.
Johnny still doesn't learn his lesson. He still keeps going around streaming, even with his face all bruised and battered and bleeding. But has he learned anything? No. Will he ever learn anything? Probably not. Dak Yoon was one of the people that attacked Johnny and he got arrested. And the local Korean people all put up money so that he could get bail. But unfortunately, he then went on to film himself throwing a brick into the courthouse during the time of martial law, and then he got put in prison. The next thing that Johnny Somali does is wreak havoc in a 7-Eleven just for the fun of it.
He was right to say we should never have kids. Your father was right. Your father was right.
Oh. What are you talking about?
안 된다고요. 소주 안 된다고.
Shut up.
폴리스?
Call the police, stupid ass.
Johnny cavorting around like that in the 7-Eleven is called obstruction of business, and it will go on to be one of his charges. And then he finds out he has got a travel ban. This means he cannot leave the country while prosecutors build their case. The only reason Johnny Somali apologises to the South Korean people is because he is banned from all social media streaming platforms. He cannot record on YouTube, Kick, Instagram, TikTok, or anywhere else. But even this apology leaves a lot to be desired because he doesn't look like he means it at all.
Right now, you're a big issue, and a lot of Koreans are mad for what you did, and all we want is for you to just apologize for what you have done.
Okay.
All right.
Bro, trust me, it's the only way, man.
Okay, I'll say it right now. I want to apologize to the Korean people. I was not aware of the significance of the statue. I was trying to get, you know what I mean? It was just entertainment for my audience. We're from America. We really don't know much about the Comfort Woman or much about the statue where we're from. So when I saw this statue, I came upon it on my stream. At first, I really didn't even know what it was. So now after I see the reaction from the Korean people, I see that it really hurt you guys. And my intention in coming to Korea was not to cause this kind of shitstorm.
Johnny Somali now finds himself in big trouble. He has nowhere to live. He keeps getting beaten up and he is banned from all streaming platforms. He does have a friend in South Korea, though, in the form of Hank, and he puts Johnny up and lets him live with him and pays for everything for Johnny because obviously Johnny has no way of earning any money. And Johnny really thinks that he is going to get out of South Korea just like he got out of Japan. In March of 2025, Johnny and Hank turn up at court wearing these suits, and Johnny is wearing a MAGA hat and he refuses to take it off, even though he has been asked repeatedly. Now, between March of 2025 and today, the 2nd of November, Johnny has continued to stack up charges against him by not changing his attitude. He now faces 7 charges in South Korea, and 2 of those are very serious and carry heavy penalties to the tune of 7 years each. One of the charges is a deep fake where he is shown with Korean streamer Bong Bong. Under South Korean law, the creation, distribution, or possession of non consensual AI generated explicit content is classified as a S crime. Legal experts have confirmed this offence carries a mandatory prison sentence of up to 7 years, unlike the previous charges, which allowed for financial penalties. This particular crime eliminates the possibility of a mere fine. The biggest issue with Johnny Somali is he considers that he has done nothing wrong. So why should he be detained in South Korea?
Is that I went the most viral. I got the most views. I became the most infamous. But to charge me with all these like minor crimes and like lock me in this country for months, story, it's my life and I want to live it. And I don't like to be controlled. I have a problem with authority. And now I feel like these people on the internet that want to cancel me, I feel like they want to control me. They want me to sit down, shut up, be a boring content creator, be a boring live streamer, but I want to be me.
Johnny wanting to be Johnny is what is causing all of the problems. And now Johnny has been to court quite a few more times. He went in March, he went again in August, he's been twice in October, and one of those was a surprise. Everyone was expecting him to go to court on the 29th of October, but he went a few days before that, and we're going to listen to a Tozy to find out why there was a surprise court appearance.
All right, so we now are about to walk into the Johnny Somali case. Most people don't know about this, but we were lucky enough to get the information from one of the other Korean streamers who essentially was indicted, and now a bunch of them have to testify, including Johnny Somali. Up until now, nobody knew about this new trial except for the internal circle of the Korean streamers involved. And this is because Johnny pressed charges on another Korean streamer. And the reason Johnny did so was because Johnny showed the deepfake first, and then Youngman found out there was a deepfake of him making out with Hank, Johnny's friend. And obviously he was very upset about it, so he then showed the clip on his stream while he was venting about how he felt like this was disgusting, that this was done without his permission. He's coming as a defendant because Johnny filed this charge against Youngman to essentially lower his own sentence because he wants Youngman to drop the charge against him.
To cut a long Tozy video very short, when they arrive at court, they find that they can't go in, and Johnny Somali ends up winning. He has 1 charge dropped against him, and Youngman, the person who he's bringing the action against, has 3 charges dropped against him. So they both end up winning in the short term. But Youngman is actually in prison, so he ends up being more of a winner than Johnny. And now we're going to go back to Atosi again because he is still in South Korea and he is going to tell us what happens at the trial on the 29th of October, which is the original one that everyone has been covering for the past year.
Oh boy. So we just got out of the Johnny Somali October 29th trial date, and it's safe to say he's going to be stuck here for a lot longer. Obviously, Johnny has been facing 8 charges for a while now, 2 deepfake charges, 4 business disruption charges, and 2 misdemeanors. But as we found out in last week's court date, Johnny ended up suing Yulman for assault with a baton, deepfakes, and stalking. Or, well, technically he was pressing charges against him. And I mean, that may or may have not happened because, you know, we have video of it. So they ended up settling that case, and in the settlement, they both dropped their charges on each other. So Johnny traded 3 charges dropped for 1 with Yulman. And there's no real reason for why that wouldn't be accepted, so we're just gonna assume that one of those deepfake charges are gone, leaving him with 7 charges left and a maximum sentence potential of roughly 12 years, and a minimum sentence of 2 years.
The charge being dropped by Youngman means that Johnny has now only got 1 deepfake charge against him. So he's hoping and praying that he can get that one dropped as well. So we're going to find out at this court hearing if he is successful or not.
But there's one big problem for him, because they need the streamer by the name of Bong Bong to testify, and to put it lightly, she doesn't care.
Then finally, you have Bong Bong, a Korean streamer who's gained a following in the gutters of the internet, because from everything I've seen of her, something's off. But she decided to stream with Johnny last year. Instantly regretted it, because after the stream, he lied and bragged about them being together, and showed the deepfake of them kissing on his stream, while bragging. And what's important is, he did so in a very humiliating way. He was like, haha, look at this, look at we did. What we'll later find out is he claims that he didn't do it in a humiliating way, but unfortunately he live streamed himself doing so. So because Johnny yet again is his own star witness against himself, it made it very easy for Bong Bong to go to the police station, press charges, and now this is a serious offense in Korea. And because of that one single charge, he's now facing a decade in prison over there. And that's what the trial we're covering today is all about.
All right, so it's 11:55 in the morning, 29th of October, 2025. We're here in Seoul, South Korea. Originally, we're supposed to have 3 testimonies today. It was supposed to be Johnny, Hank, and Bong Bong. But as we found out from watching Bong Bong's streams the other night, in quote, she said, "My lawyer told me I don't have to go. I don't care. I don't want to waste my time for Johnny Somali." But then, obviously, someone said, hey, you might have to pay a 5 million won fine, which is roughly like, I think it's like $3,500 or something like that. So then she said, I don't know, maybe should just go, worst case. Just talk to lawyer. I heard you could submit a reason for your absence. Worst case, we need to get a flight.
This is apparently what she said on stream when she found out it was a bad idea that she traveled to Australia last minute. Like, it wasn't until after she found out she was committing a crime and could get hit with heavy fines that she realized, oh, this might be a bad idea.
Now we know that Bong Bong is in Australia, so there's no way she's going to be attending court in South Korea. But does she submit something to say that she's going to be there another time and the trial against Johnny will continue? So what day is the next court hearing going to be?
So we got to court, and this is what happened according to our notes. At 1:51, the prosecutor enters the courtroom. All indications show that the prosecutor is intending to use the massive TV that is inside there, possibly to show evidence. However, if witness testimony is canceled, that might not happen. And shortly after, the bailiff started talking about calling Hank to see where he is. At 1:57 p.m., they're all setting up the monitor, connecting it to the computer. A second prosecutor is now in the room, making sure the setup is ready. The prosecutor plans to show the video. The bailiff then asks if any witnesses are in the room. Then shortly after, Johnny's lawyer peeks into the courtroom just like last time, checking if he's here, and then he leaves. So at 1:58 p.m., we find out that Youngman is actually in the building. So that's showing us that there's going to be a testimonial from him, even though they settled. At 1:59 p.m., Johnny and Hank and the lawyers enter the court and sit at the front row. At 2 p.m., the lawyer is consulting with the interpreter. And this time, we also notice that Korean press is here. Last time, they didn't show up. But just after 2, the judge enters the court, and the judge reads out the case number and calls Ramsey Khalid Ismail to the defendant's stand. Johnny carries a backpack and an empty Starbucks cup. At 2:03 p.m., Ramsey pulls out a pile of documents from his backpack. The lawyer is submitting his written opinion on evidence. This is basically just his argument for his innocence. And the judge receives it and glances at it. Because yesterday, the defense counsel submitted his opinion regarding the settlement. The judge asked the lawyer about the evidence, and the lawyer says the only new addition to the evidence is the settlement with Youngman. The defendant denies charges of deepfake, saying there was no intent. He also claims that the materials cannot be used as humiliation. He admits the distribution, but denies that it can cause harm in the form of shame. The prosecutor then submits evidence. Witness Bong Bong is not present today. Apparently, she sent in a formal request saying that she wanted to attend after about a month. Then at 2:11 p.m., the first witness, Youngman, is going to take the stand. Youngman chose to make his testimony private, so we won't be hearing his testimony. Hank apparently will also give a private testimony, and the courtroom has been cleared. We're all waiting outside at this point. So at 3:51 p.m., the courtroom is reopened to the public, and the testimony lasted approximately 1 hour and 40 minutes. The lawyer makes the 30-minute argument where Johnny essentially denies obstruction of business at Lotte World because Lotte World claimed that he stopped the ride for 30 minutes. In reality, it was like 10 to 15 minutes, so he just denies the whole claim, but he's already pleaded guilty to that charge, so it doesn't make sense why they're trying to negate it right now. The lawyer then also said that, hey, the Lotte World charges of the whole child harassment, that was dropped, so that should be taken into consideration as well, according to the attorney of Johnny. So Johnny's attorney is trying to paint him out as innocent because that charge was dropped. But then they scheduled the next hearing for February 11th, 2026. And then Johnny, before the court could leave, he stands up and asks the judge if he can do an expedited trial. And he wants essentially a speedy trial since he has family and obligations in America. And the judge immediately refused Johnny's request.
Johnny is going to be spending Christmas in South Korea, holed up with Hank, not being able to earn any money. His next trial date is going to be February 2026. And right at the beginning, people like Legal Mindset said that he could be hanging around in South Korea for over a year before any kind of sentence comes into force. Johnny has still got one deep fake charge hanging over his head, so he is definitely going to get prison time of some description. So I just hope by bringing attention to Johnny Somali, I'm showing you the error of his ways, and it's making anyone who thinks they're going to go out and do IRL streaming pranks think again doing it in another country. You might be able to get away with it in the USA, but you are definitely not going to get away with it in other countries. Well, thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye for now.